gang era is for most of y'all around this table, like, you know, out of reach with regard to like remembering it.
Well, it's come up in all of our conversations.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
It definitely has.
I'm sure it has, because the funny thing about history doesn't go anywhere, it just changes.
I definitely remember gangs, and because we had kids at school who were from the neighborhood who had problems getting to school.
In Germantown, there was the 7 Gs. The 7 Gs were the 7 gangs of Germantown. It was Haines Street, Summersville, Brickyard, Dogtown, Plastic Town, the same thing. Sometimes it didn't go away, you know.
Brickyard, and all those bad guys and all that, all the Italians in Brickyard.
Yeah, there were gangs.
Non-Italians, it was hard to go in Brickyard when you were a teenager because they would get you.
Tough to sort of go outside of certain boundaries, because if you got caught by yourself, you were liable to get chased home. I ran track, so anyway, but I share this story because when I was at Uppsala, when they were doing a dig, the fact that I grew up 4 blocks from Uppsala, I've never been there as a kid. And Dave and I think we had a brief conversation about that, but I'd never been there as a kid because that was in another gang's territory.
There were people from Brickyard coming down to Nicetown because of the girls, and then they'd get in a fight with the boys.
You know, when I was growing up, if somebody would step on another, if one brother would step on another brother's pair of shoes, it was a fight. It was a fight. Don't be stepping on no brother's shoes.
But the fights were usually with fists, occasionally a knife, break off an aerial off a car and whip somebody with it.
But basically, you're right. I mean, it was just
No guns.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to hear gunshots at night. You know, so, oh, what was that? Oh, it's a gun. You know, I mean, it didn't used to be like that. If somebody got shot, it would be big news in the newspaper.
I hear gunshots, I would say once a week, once every 10 days, something like that from where I live. So I think that's a huge change. The violence, the fear that engenders the suspicion, the fear that you know, that you hesitate to walk outside after dark, you know, or in some areas at all.
To relate to you guys, we in Germantown now, there aren't real gangs, like we don't call them gangs, but there are like people who still, you know, rep their town, like where they're from pretty hard. Like you can find some Dogtown people in some Nicetown and Uptown, and everybody thinks they're so hard, but nobody really is.